Welcome to Los Angeles for the final game of the Subaru Series presented by Mike Shaw Subaru. Yep, it's another beautiful evening in Southern California. The Rockies getting ready to go against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. The Dodgers took the first two games of this series. After tonight's ball game, the Rockies will return home and open up the set against Milwaukee on Friday. But first things first, Colorado looks to get after Kershaw and Los Angeles. Welcome upstairs, everybody. Glad as always that you are along with us. With my partner, Jeff Hewson, I'm Drew Goodman. Jorge De La Rosa will go for the Rockies against Kershaw. Anytime you face Kershaw, I think the last 3 years, there's no question, he's been the game's best pitcher.
He has, and that's why he's won the Cy Youngs. And this will be the third time in 4 days that the Rockies have faced a left-handed pitcher, and Clayton Kershaw is certainly at the top of everybody's list as a tough one to face. But Jorge De La Rosa, he was pitching pretty well in his last start against San Francisco. He had control of everything, the fastballs, the sliders, the changeups. Unfortunately, it was a tight back that knocked him out of that game after just 3 innings. He attributed some of this to running in between his starts. He thinks that's why he did it. We talked to Walt Weiss today. He has no hesitation or reservation about Jorge and being able to go out there and compete to his best of his ability. But Clayton Kershaw, as you mentioned, this will be the 25th time he's faced the Rockies in his career. Pretty good numbers against Colorado, just like he has good numbers against everybody else. The guy does not walk anybody. I think that's the big thing. He strikes out a lot of guys, but doesn't walk anybody. So it's going to be tough tonight for the Rockies offensively. And I said it last night, and I'll say it again tonight. It's imperative that you get a run or two early against Clayton when you have that opportunity. You don't get many during the course of the game, but if you get one, try to get that early lead. It'll help Jorge out a lot.
Well, the Rockies have nicked Kershaw in the past, thus his 3.5 ERA against everybody else. Seems like he has a 1-something. And De La Rosa is 3-1 against L.A. his last 4 starts. We are set for baseball. It's the Rockies and Dodgers. Come on back to L.A. with us. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Inova Cancer Care, treat prostate cancer painlessly in only 5 sessions with minimal side effects. Visit InovaCC.com. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Leading off for the Rockies tonight will be Corey Dickerson. Charlie Blackmon being given at least the first part of the evening off. So Corey steps in against Clayton Kershaw on a perfect evening for baseball. With the San Gabriel Mountains off in the distance, the first pitch is fouled back as Corey was right on that fastball. And that's a good approach, Huey. I mean, he's a guy, as you said, he doesn't walk people. There's not a big point in taking a strike and then getting to his real nasty pitches.
Yeah, some pitchers you would like to go up there and say, well, I want to see 1 or 2, maybe even 3 pitches, see what he has. But with Kershaw, 8 walks in 55 innings. So if you get a fastball early in the count, go ahead, go to swinging at it, because it's going to be 93, 94 miles an hour. You don't want to get to the sliders and the curveballs and the changeups, because he has that big 12-6 curveball that can buckle a left-hander and right-hander.
Here's the 0-2. Shows fastball away at 95. Kershaw missed some time on the disabled list after they returned from Australia. Felt like maybe his back had tightened up due to the long flight. There's all kinds of theories, but he obviously is healthy now. 6-2 with a 2.93 ERA. Beat Arizona in his last outing, allowing 1 run over 7 innings. The Diamondbacks did produce 8 hits against him. 2-2. And this ball's fouled off. Let's take a look at Kershaw's numbers presented by Inova Cancer Care, a novel approach to cancer care. InovaCC.com.
Well, for Clayton Kershaw, 6-2 on the season. One of those wins is against Colorado, but remember, it was that rain-shortened game at Coors Field. He went 5 innings, 3 hits, just 1 earned run in that ball game.
And that's strike 3. Went slider, and he freezes Corey Dickerson. Let's take a look at Walt's lineup tonight. It's presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Brandon Barnes, Mr. Energy. He'll be in the 2 spot. And then Tulowitzki. Troy had 3 more knocks yesterday. He's had an outstanding road trip. Willeen Rosario will bat cleanup. Drew Stubbs in the 5 spot. Josh Rutledge, and that's correct, he's playing third base tonight, making his first career start there. Kyle Parker making his first career start. He's had a couple of at-bats in this series since being called up. And Barnes hits it in the air to Scott Van Slyke. And that'll lead us to the Dodger defense. Brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Kempson left. Ethier's been playing center. Scott Van Slyke's there for just the 6th time this year as a starter. Yasiel Puig is in right field. Hanley Ramirez left the game in the 7th inning when he was hit on the finger on that scorching double by Corey Dickerson. Had x-rays, they were negative. He was thought to be day-to-day, but here he is in the starting lineup this evening. So with 2 outs, Tulowitzki will step up. He has more experience against Kershaw than anybody else in the Rockies lineup.
And a couple home runs against Kershaw.
He's had his moments against him. That's down low. Overall, a batting average of .245 and 49 ABs against Kershaw. A couple home runs, as Huey mentioned, and a couple of doubles. Driven in 7. He went around 1-1.
Yeah, 10 days ago in that game at Coors Field, this is one of the home runs that Troy hit against Clayton. A no-doubter 15 rows back.
Big looping curveballs high.
That's one he'll start at the letters and drop to the knees. You have a tendency to give up on it because you think it's a fastball and it's going to be high, and then it drops off the table.
You know, with Kershaw, he is human. Sometimes it doesn't appear to be. But you go back to a start he made on May 17th against Arizona. He lasted just an inning and 2/3. He gave up 7 runs on 6 hits. Now, since that time, he's been outstanding. But again, it's possible.
It is.
you get after a guy like Kershaw. This ball on the ground to second. D. Gordon is there, and it's a 1-2-3 first for Clayton Kershaw. When we come back to LA, we'll see Jorge De La Rosa on the mound for the Rockies. For the Dodgers, you had a big game Monday night, 4 for 4 and a walk. Rockies kept it quiet last night, 0 for 4 and 2 strikeouts yesterday. The Southwest batting order for Don Mattingly. Find our fares online, only at southwest.com. Hanley Ramirez in that 2 spot. Then Puig, Gonzalez, Kemp, Scott Van Slyke, A.J. Ellis, Miguel Rojas again at 3rd. And the pitcher, of course, Clayton Kershaw, who can swing it a little bit. Here are the numbers on Jorge De La Rosa, brought to you by Inova Cancer Care, a novel approach to cancer care at InovaCC.com.
Well, for Jorge De La Rosa, early in his career, really struggled against the Dodgers, but his last 4 starts been pretty good. 3-1 with a 3.55 ERA. And as we mentioned in our open, there's no concerns or hesitations about his back after having to come out of that start against San Francisco. They're looking for him to just pitch like he normally would, and that's brilliantly. So you go out there for De La Rosa, just think about this Dodger lineup, kind of watch what they did in the previous couple nights and pitch to their weaknesses.
Now, De La Rosa loves a challenge, and he wants to stop a little 2-game slide for the Rockies. Rockies can pull off a win today. It will be an outstanding road trip to California. They'll have won 4 out of 6. And by virtue of their first 3 in San Francisco, they obviously can do no worse than a 500 trip.
Make this late flight back to Denver more enjoyable.
Absolutely. D. Gordon. And the first pitch from Jorge's down low, ball 1. Gordon slaps the ball as most speedsters do that are typically not going to hit the ball over the wall. Rutledge in on the grass, and you have to guard against Gordon bunting
anytime
in any count.
Well, in any situation. Remember the other night there's a runner at second base with 2 outs. He tried to lay a bunt down there. I mean, that's not what you would think he would do.
0-2 on the inside corner, and it's, excuse me, 2-0 on the inside corner. It's 2-1. And that's way outside. 3 balls and a strike.
He's kind of the key to this whole lineup. When he gets on base, he just disrupts the pitcher's timing, and it helps the hitters behind him.
That's in there, 3-2. He's really found himself the last year. And talking to your old friend, a teammate of yours growing up in baseball, the third base coach Lorenzo Bundy, he said it really eased his mind moving off shortstop.
Well, it just clears it because now he can focus more on the offensive side. Doesn't have to worry about at second base. It's easier defensively, obviously because of the shorter throw. And Lorenzo's coached, he's managed, he's done everything in this game, and he knows the pressure of playing shortstop, and you slide over to second. It's an easier thing.
This is popped up and maybe playable. Dickerson too close to the wall. Nice effort by Corey.
Real good effort, and you're coming to the point there where the wall is going out, is coming in from the left field line. You don't know how much room you have because you're used to one thing at home, and then when you get to another ballpark, it's different. And there's 4 strides or 3 strides from where he tried to catch the ball, but if he was just back another 5 feet, there's only a stride and a half before you'd hit the wall.
Plus, is it more disconcerting when the wall is kind of at your waist level?
Yes, because you'll flip over it.
Another 3-2, and he loses Gordon. So a walk of D. Gordon to begin things, and that'll bring up Hanley Ramirez. Rockies defensively brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. Dickerson in left, Stubbs at center, and Brandon Barnes in right. DJ is getting the start at second. In the past, when LeMahieu and Rutledge started together in the absence of Arenado, it was flipped. DJ would play third, where he has more experience than Rutledge. But you talked earlier with Walt Weiss, and he just wanted to keep that double play combination.
Yeah,
together.
he just felt like DJ, you don't want to take him away from his Gold Glove defense at second base and move him over to third and then Rutt. So he told Josh that when Nolan went down that there's going to be a point where you're going to have to play some third, and I want to leave DJ at second. And he said tonight, I just felt like this was the best way to go.
And Walt caught Rutledge in the clubhouse today. He said, "You look at the lineup."
Well, both you and I did the same thing. Was this a misprint? Did they mean to put Josh at third and DJ at second? Because we've seen it the other way so much lately.
And it's funny, Rutt went up to Arenado and he said, "You got any advice for me?" And he started going over offensive advice against Kershaw, even though Rutledge has seen Kershaw. He said, No. He said, "I'm playing third." And he said, "Get your glove down quick."
That's right. That's what people used to say. Wait, was it different going over third? Sure it was. The ball got to you much sooner, but you still had to catch it and throw it.
It's fouled off by Ramirez, 0-1. Well, here's what Walt said about the defensive alignment this evening.
Toying with the idea of playing Rutt over there at some point. He's gotten a lot of his pregame work over there at third, and I talked to him about it the day after Nolan went down. So, I just hadn't pulled the trigger on it. I'm doing it tonight. But.
And down the line, foul. And Rutledge, the beauty of Josh is he's got good hands and he's an outstanding athlete.
Well, and he has the arm strength to play third.
Yep.
That's the other component. If you get that ball deep on your backhand, can you make the throw all the way across the diamond?
And honestly, as you've pointed out, a more comfortable throw for him is up top as opposed to
the sidearm
flip, which you get quite frequently at second base. Gordon extends his lead a little bit. Not going, and the 0-2's down and in, 1-2. Hanley Ramirez, one of 3 Dodgers, did a home run in last night's ball game. For Ramirez, it was his 11th.
Yeah, the opposite field. Release knew it immediately. Charlie tried to jump and rob him, but behind the wall and where the stands are, there's an opening of about 5 to 7 feet.
You mentioned that last night. Never before had the Dodgers had 2 shortstops in the same game hit a home run. It's probably unusual. You're going to play 2 different guys at shortstop. but it's a stat and a first, nevertheless.
Well, as long as this organization has been in existence.
There is Truenfell. 2-2 on Hanley Ramirez.
We have not seen any movement at all out of D. Gordon at first. His first step has been back to the bag.
Kyle Parker, who came up as an outfielder, the former #1 pick, and has been getting more and more work at first base in Colorado Springs. As we showed you a moment ago, is at first base tonight.
Played some there in the Arizona Fall League. So there's enough reps now at first where it's not just, hey, here you go, and you're making your first start in the big leagues at first.
Yep. He takes off, and that's low. Throw to second, safe. So Gordon with his 37th stolen base.
Well, this is more on Jorge because of the higher leg kick. But Wallin made a strong throw to second. Just D. Gordon outrunning the baseball, because that was a pretty quick catch and release.
Whoa! You know what?
You know what though? If you keep the tag down, it's like what they were talking about to the infielders in Colorado. Remember, keep the tag on those guys. More guys are starting to slide off the bag.
It's one of those things that's starting to be coached right now because of instant replay. Keep the tag on. You may be able to get an out that way, and we've seen it happen already a couple times this year.
You know, and people say, can you push him off the bag? No, you can't push him, but you just ride with the slide, with the tag. So if he just would have rode with that one and kept the tag going, as soon as he came up, the tag's on him, he would have been out.
De La Rosa and Rosario make sure they're on the same page with a runner at second base as to what signs they are going to utilize. And it's 3-2 on Hanley Ramirez. Second base is extremely hard to steal with a left-handed pitcher. When you have a lefty out there, for a speed guy like Gordon, third is far easier.
Yeah, and the DJ has to hold him close, but knowing that Hanley might try to hit the ball to the right side. But still, it's going to be up to DJ to stay in D. Gordon's back pocket. Don't let him get that walking lead. Walt knows, being a former middle infielder, you just have to jockey back and forth with the base runner.
And that's in the dirt, so Ramirez walks, back-to-back walks. It does set up the possibility of a double play with Puig coming up. You also have to be wary of a double steal. And that's what Wallin will go over right now, as to where he'll go with the baseball if two guys do take off.
Yeah, and with D. Gordon at second, my thought is you're going to throw to second. You're not going to try to get him, because Hanley would wait to see, does he really take off? He would be a stride behind. Dodgers lead the National League in stolen bases with 77 now.
They're also second in the National League in walks. And speaking of that, Puig has 33 walks this year. He had 36 all of last year, so he's being a little more patient.
Those 36 walks, it took him 104 games to accomplish that. This year it's taken just 66.
Mark McGuire, hitting coach for the Dodgers, looking on. Good off-speed pitch.
Real good pitch. That's where De La Rosa is so good, knowing when to take some off, or when a hitter's looking for a fastball in a fastball count, he can throw the split finger.
That's pitching right there. He walked the first two. It's 1-0 on Puig. Puig's sitting dead red. And that's into center field. Gordon's going to move up. Ramirez is going to move up. And honestly, that's what speed does, in that you have to spend so much time paying attention to a guy like D. Gordon, and it forces you into an error.
First error of the season on Jorge. He spins and throws a tailing fastball to DJ. Now for the Rockies in this 3-game set, that's their 5th error.
One to Puig.
This is where you need to try to work a strikeout. You have to play the infield back.
This is well hit to center field. Should get the run home. Stubbs will throw in the direction of third. D. Gordon scores, and the Dodgers have a 1-0 lead. Puig's 42nd RBI.
First baseman number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
See what D. Gordon. I don't know why he stopped. Maybe he didn't think he was going to go if he threw home. But with his speed,
do you think he felt like he left early? I mean, it's strange. Why would he do that?
I have no idea. No explanation of, with his speed, why he would stop and hesitate.
So Gordon, a walk, a stolen base. And then on the error, he goes to third, sac fly. He scores. No hits in the inning, but the Dodgers have a run. Ramirez at second, Adrian Gonzalez at the plate, and that fastball's outside.
Well, 19 pitches for Jorge, 11 balls, only 8 strikes.
Really, what you get into here is damage control if you're De La Rosa.
Sure.
And that's in there for a strike. Home plate umpire is Greg Gibson this evening. Phil Cuzzies at first, Jerry Davis at second, and Quinn Walcott. Call up from AAA is at third. On the ground slowly to short. Troy's got it. And they're 2 outs. And that'll bring up Matt Kemp, who probably is the hottest hitter in the Dodger lineup.
Left fielder number 27.
Fans, tweet your questions using the hashtag Toyota Talk, and we'll get to as many as we can during the 5th inning tonight. We do it every night. Toyota Talk. Kemp, the last 6 ball games, hitting at a .435 clip. He's hurt the Rockies quite a bit this year. He's at .379 against Colorado. smidgen inside, evidently, and it's 1-0.
It's tough for an umpire to get into a rhythm. I mean, the balls that are close or borderline, he just hasn't felt it yet from Jorge as far as where is he going to pitch? Is he be able to hit his spots?
That's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It looks like the pitch that he has the most control of, at least in this first inning, is that split change.
Yep. Fastball in. And that cuts too far in, so it's 2-1. Three balls and a strike on Kemp. See if he can make a pitch here. In the air, foul and out of play. It's 3-2. 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
He has him set up for the changeup.
He does, doesn't he?
Yes.
And again, I'm not that he wants to. You're talking about the first inning. You've already walked 2, and you have a high pitch count in the first inning. But if you were to miss to Kemp, it's not the end of the world.
No, because you have a veteran hitter at the plate compared to the rookie that's on, or the younger player on deck.
And it's a base hit to center field. He did go off speed, but Kemp sat on it, and it's 2-0.
Right pitch, wrong location.
Center fielder number 33, Scott Kershaw.
Goes back to the changeup, but notice where it ends up. Belt high away to allow Matt Kemp to extend the arms. Now, it's down by the knees, you get the swing and miss, but it stayed on the same plane. It's an easier adjustment for the hitter.
And this is in the air to Barnes in right. He's got it. In the inning, there was only 1 hit, but 2 runs come in for the Dodgers.
Los Angeles. Hello, everyone. Jenny Cavnar down by the Rockies dugout with you tonight. When you talk about Clayton Kershaw on the mound, you talk about a guy that's very stingy. He only allowed 3 hits in his 5 innings pitched just 10 days ago against Colorado. But take a look at what he does per 9 innings in the major league since he came in and broke into the league in 2008. He allows just 6.9 hits per 9 innings and his 2.62 ERA since 2008. That leads Major League Baseball. That's 6.9 hits per 9. That is 10% better than any other pitcher in Major League Baseball. Again, that's since the 2008 season, but very impressive when you take a look at the numbers. And it's pretty hard to get some hits against Kershaw. You got to take them when you can get them, guys.
Yeah, he is the very best in the game. He's won the ERA title in baseball 3 straight years. Here's Willeen Rosario, and he gets a fastball up and away, ball 1.
Well, how about 3 of the 5 guys on that list are all in the National League West?
We always say it is a pitching-rich division year in and year out. And further evidence of that graphic. Here's the 1-0. And Willeen, I like that approach. I mean, it's foul ball right side, but when Willeen, just like most hitters, Huey, gets locked in, he's wearing out that gap in right center field.
Yeah, then it's just a reaction inside. It's not I have to open up too soon, and then you're susceptible to breaking pitches or fastballs away from you, and you end up rolling over those.
Foul ball 1 and 2. Whenever the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. Dodgers up 2-0. Top of the 2nd inning at Dodger Stadium.
That's the one.
That is the one that locks virtually everybody up.
I said it back in the 1st inning. It comes out of the hand a lot like Tom Flash Gordon, D. Gordon's dad. He would throw that same sort of curveball where you think it's a ball coming out of the hands because it's so high. It's not the window you're normally used to seeing the ball come from, and then it just falls off the table.
It looks like what our dad's generation used to call the drop
ball. Yes.
Stubbs takes a fastball for a strike. And that's a called strike. Drew's hitting lefties exceptionally well. 371 average. Started last night, was 1 for 4. That pitch looked a little off the plate, and that one was off the plate as well, but it was close. In fact, you can see there on the 4th strike zone, just off the outer edge. 1 and 2.
You have to kind of pick locations or pick spots with Clayton. You can't say, well, I'm going to look for this pitch in this situation. It's either going to be I'm going to look away or I'm going to look inside.
Now he wants the slider.
Back foot.
He has struck out 3 of the first 5. And that'll bring up Josh Rutledge. Auto glass damage. Trust Safelite. Go online to safelite.com or call 303-287-5000 to schedule an appointment now.
When Clayton Kershaw's previous 9 starts, in 6 of them, he struck out exactly 9 batters.
Rutledge fires at the first pitch, fouled off. Josh 2 for 11 in his matchups with Kershaw. Kershaw's ERA of 3.54 against the Rockies is the highest he has against any opponent in the National League other than the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals, he has a 3.75 ERA. And in the American League, of teams he's faced a fair amount, number 1 would be the Angels because of their natural rivalry, and he has a 3.74 ERA against the Angels. Now, those are good ERAs. The Rockies by far have given him the most issues of anybody in the division. Here's the 1-1.
He has been better at Dodger Stadium than at Coors Field.
like a lot of pitchers.
I mean, he has a 1.48 ERA against the Giants. 2.47 against the Padres on the outside corner. And he has a 2.61 ERA against Arizona.
13 home runs given up. A lot, but
only one here,
only
though.
One here. Chavez Ravine.
2-2. And that was a foul ball.
Yeah. Just clip this ball. Once it hits that bat for the catcher, it's a guesstimate. Where is it going?
Kershaw started to lean toward the dugout. That was low, though. 3-2. It appeared low.
Ooh, looks like on the forward strike zone, caught a break. Now use it, Josh.
I don't think he's missed location yet based on where A.J. Ellis is set up. So it's not just the arsenal, it's his ability to locate it.
That's why I said you have to pick a zone that you want to try to look for that pitch. And then when you get it, you can't miss it.
On the ground to Gordon. He'll put a knee down. The luxury on the right side at times to be able to do that. 1-2-3 second for Kershaw. 2-0 Dodgers. Go back to June 18, 2000, and a 19-2 rout of Arizona. Mike Lansing hit for the cycle in the first 4 innings.
Do it, Laser.
Yeah, he went triple, homer, double, single. All right, that's done with. How about that?
What else do I have to do the rest of the game?
It's brought to you by Coors. A.J. Ellis takes a strike. 7-8-9 for the Dodgers in the second inning. They got 2 in the first. Gordon walked, Ramirez walked, and they ended up both scoring. Sac fly and a 2-out hit from Kemp. Drew Stubbs in center field waiting, and A.J. Ellis is retired. That'll bring up Miguel Rojas.
Mike Lansing still living in the Denver area. Helps coach at Columbine High School, as well as fantasy camp. That together down in Scottsdale, the Rockies beautiful complex.
Blazers been down there the last couple of years. One of the few big leaguers out of the state of Wyoming.
Casper, Wyoming. And went to Wichita State.
And we count you as one of those, even though you're not from Wyoming, but out of the University of Wyoming.
Well, and Mike Devereaux, who's a hitting coach in the Rockies organization from Casper.
The Mets' #1 pick a couple of years ago.
Nemo from Cheyenne.
Yep, Nemo's from Cheyenne. 5-tool kid. Here's the 0-1.
And of course,
the slider's high.
The great Tracy Ringlesby from Cheyenne.
Who did Tracy play for?
Is there anybody more passionate about his state than Cowboy?
Never met him.
Keep going, though.
If there is, yeah. Every article of clothing that Cowboy owns that we haven't given him at root. This is to first. Parker, tough play. And he needs help. De La Rosa to get his foot down. He's out at first base. What a great play on both ends.
Yes, it
Kyle
was.
Parker's first big league chance is a real difficult one. And a wonderful job by De La Rosa making the catch and finding the bag.
Well, he has to reach. He's in foul territory. Then lead Jorge.
That's a great play all the way around.
Because Jorge has to reach back across his body to catch it, and then have the wherewithal to step on the bag before Rojas reaches it.
One thing you're going to find about that young man, Kyle Parker, the Rockies' #1 pick a few years ago out of Clemson. This kid was a hellacious athlete. And, you saw the good footwork there. As a freshman at Clemson, he was better known as a baseball player, and then he gets on the field the spring game and he throws for a touchdown, 171 yards. He literally ran across the parking lot to Clemson's baseball stadium, got rid of the football gear, it's on the ground is short, and they were playing a doubleheader against #5 Miami. He hit a bomb in the first game, hit a bomb in the second game. This stuff's easy.
This is easy. I can do this all day long.
Is driven by the helpful SoCal Honda dealers, and they want to thank you.
Top of the third. Time for you to tweet us your Rockies fan photos using the hashtag #COFanPhoto for an opportunity to have it shown during an upcoming game. It's brought to you by AT&T. Great aerial view of downtown Los Angeles. It used to be a ghost town on weekends, busy during the day and very quiet in the evening. Now it's a destination on the weekends. It's a destination in the evenings because of LA Live and all the restaurants around the convention center and the Staples Center. And we're just a few minutes away up to 110. Kyle Parker is going to lead things off for the Rockies in the third against Clayton Kershaw. He had a pinch hitting appearance in both of the first two games in this series, and mom and dad looking on. Kathy and Carl, and Carl was quite an athlete, a two-sport star himself at Vanderbilt, and then he went on to play briefly for the Cincinnati Bengals as a wide receiver. He got in 3 games in '88 and 3 games in '89 with Cincinnati, and in fact, that is where his son Kyle was born. Grew up in the Jacksonville area, and he takes ball 1. It'll be an opportunity tonight, Huey, for him to put some at-bats together.
And that's a good thing, because his first 2 have been pitch hit appearances, and they, 2 strikeouts. That's not unusual. A lot of guys, you would like to get a hit in your first major league at bat. I struck out my first one. I was talking to Spilly. He struck out in his first one. So, I mean, it happens. But to get 4 at bats now is going to be really nice. Of course, he's going up against Clayton Kershaw. Would you take that as a challenge?
Well, I was kidding him before the game. I said, boy, you got a bunch of easy guys to begin your career against. His first at bat came against Brian Wilson on Monday. Last night he faced Kenley Jansen, one of the game's top closers, and now he gets Clayton Kershaw.
It's the big leagues.
It is the big leagues.
Hey, people always say, what's the difference between the minor leagues and the big leagues? The guys you face. Yeah. These type of players. So you and I both have boys that played baseball. It's, can you imagine what's going on in the parents' minds and stomachs right now? I find it harder to watch my kids play sports than playing it myself.
Yeah, and just look at Mrs. Parker. It's not the look of joy right now. Here's the 2-2, breaking ball, and it's fouled off.
But it's joy to watch him in a big league uniform, playing in Dodger Stadium. When he gets a chance to play at Coors Field, that's the joy and the thrill.
Yeah.
But it's also nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and he put together a very nice minor league resume, a career .293 hitter in the minor leagues with plenty of pop. Here's the 2-2. He has bat speed. We've seen him in spring training. We've watched him take swings in the cage. He has a violent swing. Not this time. Kershaw gets him. Kershaw's on his game. He has struck out 4 of the first 7 he has faced.
That is now 75 strikeouts, 57 2/3 innings. I mean, he's averaging 11.55 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Which is the best, as you said, of any starter in baseball. And he's basically averaging 9 strikeouts for every walk. A 9-to-1 ratio. Are you kidding me?
We talk about a 2-to-1, sometimes 3-to-1 ratio is outstanding.
1-0 on DJ, and he takes a strike. It's 1-1. Fastballs range from 92 to 95 tonight.
That's downhill playing. Doesn't stay flat. Pretty simple delivery from Kershaw.
He's out of Highland Park, Texas, which is a well-to-do suburb of Dallas. Drafted 7th overall in 2006, right out of high school. And because of that, even though we know the name well, he's only 26.
One of those guys that you think he's had to have been in the league for 12 years.
Five punch outs as De La Rosa comes up with 2 outs.
Just hoping to foul this off. But when it's located like it is, it makes it hard. So the leg comes up, hands are high, and then as he starts to go home, that's when he separates. And then the leg drive coming off the back leg. and pulling the right arm through and tucking the arm by his side.
Doesn't it almost appear that he's late breaking his hands?
Yeah, but he holds them so high. I think that's why he holds them up there. Because as he's starting to drift, the hands are still together, but because he has them high, he can get the arm up quicker.
And for guys that lift, leg kick guys, throw the timing off a little bit?
Yes, it does. Throws the timing because you're thinking when his leg comes up, that's when I have to start some of my actions as a hitter.
Two and two on De La Rosa. Rockies yesterday fell 4-2, though they had 11 hits. Many of those against Zach Greinke, but they left 13 on base, just 2 for 14 runners in scoring position. And it's softly hit to third. Rojas grabs it, and the Rockies still looking for their first base runner as we go to the bottom of the third. 2-0 LA. He's real time. Ryan Spilborg sits down with former teammate, close friend Troy Tulowitzki, and they talk about all things baseball. And also, while Tulo's in Los Angeles, get a chance to see how he gives back to his alma mater, Long Beach State. That's all this week on Rockies Real Time Friday after the game. In fact, one of Spilly's coaches, he's now the head coach. He wasn't the head coach when he was at Long Beach State, is in attendance tonight.
He's had a packed 3 days out here in LA.
Now we can't find him.
No, he hopped on a flight to go back to Denver. See him again on Friday.
Oh, we'll give him a hard time then. D. Gordon, Hanley Ramirez, Yasiel Puig, or better known as the top three in the Dodger lineup, to face De La Rosa. Jorge got in trouble in the first inning when he walked D. Gordon, and then he followed that up with a walk to Hanley Ramirez, and then on a pick attempt to get Gordon at second, he threw the ball into center field, so both runners moved to second and third. Then there was a sac fly by Puig. And after Gonzalez grounded out, Matt Kemp with 2 outs singled to center field. Also on a 3-2 pitch. Gordon is behind 0-2. And watch Josh Rutledge. He really won't move back as you normally would.
Don't go back too far.
And he's going to stay right around the grass because, again, D. Gordon will glance down there and he'll lay down a bunt with 2 strikes, or attempt to.
Yeah, left on left. He's not afraid to do it. Well, you mentioned that first inning. It took Jorge 28 pitches to get through that first, but only 7 in the second.
Oh-2 on Gordon, and it's a slider in the dirt, 1-2. That pitch fouled off. Billy Ray Cyrus on the national anthem tonight.
I was impressed with this rendition.
You know what? It really was quite good.
Yes.
Slowly hit out in front of the plate. Rosario on the move. Parker evidently taken off the bag. We'll see if the replay shows he was off the bag.
Well, Lane looked into the dugout saying, take a look at this. Make sure you challenge.
Let's see. Ball and
Foot's on the
glove.
bag.
Foot still on the bag. He's out.
He is out.
And Walt's going to come out now.
Shortstop number 13, Hanley Ramirez.
There's no question he's on the bag.
Not at all.
Good job by Kyle Parker hanging in there.
It gave the appearance where he ended up that he was off, but when that ball goes into the glove, disappears into the glove, his foot is on the bag, no question about it.
This thing should take 20 seconds.
Yeah, one of the shorter ones we have, but it's gonna be overturned because he's out.
This manager's challenge is brought to you by Subaru's EyeSight Driver Assist technology, a vigilant safety feature that gives peace of mind to every drive. And even the crowd now, you can't see it. They just showed it on the 2 big video screens, and they kind of oohed, uh-oh.
Yep. Well, and Wallin, as I said it, he looked over in the dugout, and she was shaking his finger like Matumbo, say no. Foot's on the bag, ball's in the glove, out.
Jerry Davis, the crew chief, will give the call. Phil Cuzzy, who made the original call, he was in there with the headset as well. I'm not sure what is that for, moral support? Why do 2 guys have to have the headset on?
I think it goes back to making sure that they hear the correct call coming from New York. Remember they had the mess up on the coin flip, and now they have to say the coin flip. What are you calling, to make sure that there's no confusion? So that's why there's 2 guys on headsets.
Heads, tails it is. Turn to the other team.
What?
Did you like the football? I'm shocked that this has taken as long as it has. Come on, Jerry. Punch your fist in the air.
Take the headset off.
Yeah, Phil Cuzzy's heard what he needed to hear.
Yep.
Here we go. So D. Gordon's gone, 1 out, and that'll bring up Ramirez. 2-3 on that put out at first. Got a couple of impressive plays for Kyle Parker.
Well, where
his first big league start defensively.
And I think you show the feet and how they work around the bag and how he had to make the throw earlier. The athleticism. Nice job by Joe Little down in the Rockies video room with that replay.
Nice job by the left-hander Joe Little, former minor league pitcher. And when the Rockies are facing a left-hander, he often will throw 1 round of batting practice. He'll throw a group.
I know know he did on Monday, and I'm pretty sure he did today too. It helps when you can face a left-hander during batting practice if you're going to face one on the hill.
Get a feel for arm slot.
Yeah, and just coming from a different angle.
Yep. See the window on the other side.
Yes.
Two 2-0 on Ramirez. Bet she gets a changeup here. He did, but it was low. 3-0.
I think Hanley was sitting on that changeup because he didn't even offer at it. Think that there was no flinch.
The Ford Strike Zone is powered by Ford SUVs, the versatility you need, and the MPGs and quality you deserve. It's the smarter way to get there. Ford, go further. On the ground, down the line. Great play, Rutledge, and the throw to first. Out at first base. How about that? His first big league start at third, and Rutledge makes an Arenado play.
Well, you have to be aware that he's going to swing 3-0.
Number 66, Yasiel Puig.
Nolan, that's what you say. If they hit it to you, if you have to dive, you catch it and make a throw across. That's how it goes.
This ball's hit hard. That's a great play.
Remember I said the arm strength? That's the separator. Because not only does he go down and snag this, that's hard. It was hard hit. But then to get up.
It's also, Huey, and you understand this better than anybody because you played all the infield spots, your natural shortstop. That's his natural arm slot.
Coming back over the top so you don't get the tail and the run on the ball.
Boy, there was great finish to that throw. And he didn't panic when he made the stop. He took that extra, quarter second to gather himself. Boy, that was a great play.
Well, when you dive like that as an infielder, your throwing hand, you get a lot of mud and dirt and just junk on your hand. So when you go in to reach for the ball, sometimes it'll be slippery because you still have the dirt on your fingers. So that's why you have to be taking that extra step or that extra half beat to make sure you get a grip.
1-0 on Puig, and then cuts inside. 2-0.
Now just focus on his right hand. I know the ball goes in the glove, but watch his right hand as he dives, okay? So that's where you grab all the dirt. It's on the palm of your hand. You can see the discoloration. So when you reach in for the ball, you're hoping, don't slip out.
Last time Rutledge played third base was his junior year in high school. Going up in Alabama, going to Birmingham.
I'm just going to say it. I don't think they hit the ball that hard in high school.
Good brand of high school baseball, I'm sure, in Alabama.
Good, but he's not handling Ramirez good.
No, probably not. And he almost had another opportunity to dive. That was foul. 2-2 on Puig.
Sometimes when you go to a new position or it's the first time you're playing it, making one of those tough plays might be the best thing to happen because now you kind of get the nerves out. You're saying, "Ooh, okay, I can make that play. It's okay. I saw it off the bat. I recognize it. I know what I have to do."
Here's the 2-2 to Puig. You know what, from an athlete standpoint, again, you understand this. You take it as a challenge. And there's probably, a even greater degree of excitement for Rutledge tonight.
There's there are a fair amount of nerves because you're playing a position that you're not as accustomed to, but you do. The competitiveness in you says, I can do this. Why not? Let's go.
Guys who reach this level are not short on confidence. You can't reach this level if you are.
Exactly. You can't. You have to have confidence almost to a cockiness, but in a good, healthy way.
Yeah, it's a good way of describing it. 3-2 on Puig. And that's foul straight back. Runs on just one hit for Los Angeles. 2 outs, nobody on here in the third. Puig fouls that pitch off. Surprisingly, Puig had only 1 at bat against De La Rosa coming into the ball game. He hit the sac fly in the first.
He was hurt in that series in Denver and missed a couple games. One of those games De La Rosa started.
And he loses him. That's the 3rd walk for De La Rosa. I'll bring up the perennial all-star first baseman, Adrian Gonzalez.
You get your tickets now for the Rockies and the Cardinals. They're coming up June 23rd through the 25th. Coca-Cola value packs are available for the June 23rd game. Go to Rockies.com today. Look for the Coca-Cola value pack.
Adrian grounded to short his first time up. He lines this one to left. It's a fair ball. And there's that tricky corner. Dickerson handles it well. Puig gets a green light. Throw to the plate is not going to get him. And Gonzalez ends up at third base. A double and an RBI for Adrian Gonzalez. It's 3-0 LA.
Well, and all 3 guys that have scored reach base via the walk. Adrian Gonzalez being credited with a double and then advancing to third on the throw home. Corey Dickerson, he gets over and he cuts the ball off. And once it hits the wall, it didn't shoot past him. He gives a throw to Troy, and then knows he has to get rid of it quickly to Puig, but it was more on the first base side. You see the disappointment from De La Rosa from behind. He was more disappointed with that previous walk.
And now you have to deal with Kemp. He had the RBI single in the first. He's swinging the bat better than he has at any point this year. It's an obvious statement, one we always say, that when you're facing a true #1 like a Clayton Kershaw, you can't allow the other team to get too far out in front. It's hard enough to scratch out a run or two against a guy like Kershaw. 3-0 LA.
Well, you mentioned the runs that he gave up, the 7 runs in the one game against Arizona. But besides that game, the most he's given up on the season is 3 earned runs. Done that a couple times, 2 earned runs, but he's also had 3 games where he's only given up 1 earned run.
Two-strike count on Kemp. And that is pulled fair into the left field corner as well. It'll be a run-scoring double for Matt Kemp, and it's 4-0 Los Angeles. 27th RBI for Kemp, and both hits, Huey, have been with 2 strikes.
It goes to the Dodgers and cutting down their swing. Gonzalez, he took the pitch away, but Matt Kemp pulls the hands in, opens the front side up to get to that baseball. 2 hits tonight. That's 7 multi-hit games for Matt Kemp in his last 13 ball games. Those are the ones that sting. 2-0's tough enough against Kershaw, but then to give up the 2 with 2 outs.
And you were working ahead of Puig. 2 outs, nobody on. And he ultimately lost him. Scott Van Slyke fouls it off. He had a fly ball to right field his first time. Ball and a strike on Van Slyke.
Last couple of hitters have laid off the changeup.
The Dodgers have played better baseball, it seems, since Don Mattingly had his post-game tirade a week or so ago, where he basically said this team isn't really a team.
Called them out for being selfish.
Yep. And ever since then, they have played, according to Hanley Ramirez, much more like a team, and their at-bats have been seemingly more focused, and Matt Kemp has demonstrated that. Hanley Ramirez has demonstrated that.
You know, and Puig did it in the first inning with the sac fly to center field.
Probably not dissimilar to the lift that the Rockies got, and it wasn't done to necessarily give his team a lift. Obviously, you want to give your team a lift all the time, but when Walt was so incensed, and rightfully so, when David Carpenter threw at Corey Dickerson, the Rockies went on that 5-game run, swept San Francisco.
You can't do it all the time, otherwise the players will tune it out. But there are times when a manager has to put his foot down. Say enough's enough.
And the stuff that Mattingly was talking about, that's never been an issue with the Rockies. I mean, they have a very close-knit team. And there's a lot of leaders in that clubhouse. And that misses, so Van Slyke walks. That's 4 straight who've now reached here in the 3rd inning. 4 walks allowed by Jorge, and that'll bring up A.J. Ellis, who's one of the most patient hitters in the game.
That ties a season high in walks for Jorge. The last time he did it was 2 starts ago against LA.
Ellis hit a fly ball to center his first time up. Been on base 10 of his last 16 at bats since coming off the disabled list Friday night. He's been behind the plate in all 3 in this series against the Rockies. Giants lost earlier today, if you missed it, 7-6 in Chicago against the White Sox. They've lost 5 straight. They ended up losing 7-6, but one of the stories there is Tim Hudson, who's had such a terrific year. He gave up all 7 runs.
Including a bomb today. Home run.
Adam Dunn hit one a mile against him. 2 strike counts. So the Dodgers beginning the day 4.5 back, and the Rockies 8.5 back of the Giants. Giants will go on to Arizona.
Both teams have picked up games in the standings, but when the club that's leading the division, they're losing, that's when you want them to pick up even more, not just stay stagnant.
Outside 1-2. And now Jorge closing in on 70 pitches here. And
well,
you're in the 3rd inning.
And a reminder, you're down already a couple guys in the bullpen. First of all, Nick Massett, because he's serving his suspension for, this is the 2nd of 3 games, so he'll have to sit out Friday's game. But Tommy Kahnle threw 2 innings last night, so he's down.
He's one of your 2 now middlemen. Of course, Franklin Morales would be your other now that he's down in the bullpen.
And he's good to go because he threw the 3 innings on Sunday in San Francisco.
Yeah, he's back in play.
Yeah.
Four runs, just 3 hits for the Dodgers. It's the walks. And now it's 2-2. Two on Ellis, and that changeup's not close. 3-2. And now the problem is the runners will be moving.
You give especially Van Slyke at first base the bigger lead and the jump. He'll be halfway to second base before the ball crosses the plate. Now, when the ball goes into the gap, he would have a chance to score.
And ball 4. The bases are loaded. 2 straight walks, 5 walks altogether. And here comes Jimmy Wright.
Still no activity down in the bullpen for Colorado.
Third baseman number 72, Miguel Rojas.
De La Rosa, 28 pitches in the first inning, only 7 in the second, but now 37 here in the 3rd.
Miguel Rojas, Kemp at 3rd, Van Slyke at 2nd, A.J. Ellis at 1st, and Franklin Morales, the aforementioned left-hander, is starting to throw in the Rockies bullpen.
Rojas, just 22 big league at bats under his belt.
And this ball's crushed to left field, going back. Dickerson, it's going to one-hop the wall. 2 runs is scored. The trail runner Ellis is coming home. He'll score. Bases clearing double for Miguel Rojas. It is 7-0 LA.
1-0 count. For the young hitter, he's looking for a fastball. He's trying to hit it out. Gave it one of his best bolts. Going over the head of Corey Dickerson to drive in 3 runs, or a total of 4 on the season. All 4 will come at the expense of the Rockies.
5 walks tonight for De La Rosa, and all 5 have scored. Clayton Kershaw takes a big hack and he fouls it back. It's tough enough giving up 2 runs in the first, facing Kershaw. Now Kershaw's got 7 to work with.
7 runs now, 6 of them being earned.
Dodgers hit around in the 3rd inning. There were 2 outs and nobody on. They end up putting up 5.
Dodger fans, it's time for Priceless Surprises, courtesy of MasterCard.
Have a 7-0 lead. Miguel Rojas with a bases clearing double. And again, all those runs came with 2 outs. In fact, 6 of the 7 runs for the Dodgers have come with 2 outs. Rockies do not have a base runner against Clayton Kershaw. And a frustrated Jorge De La Rosa mopping his brow. Corey Dickerson will lead things off in the 4th inning. He was caught looking in his first at bat. 5 strikeouts for Kershaw, first time through the lineup. Mark was mentioning some American League ball games. Actually, that was a game between the Giants and the White Sox. So an interleague game. Some interesting occurrences in baseball today. The Royals beat Detroit. They've won 10 in a row. They're a game and a half ahead now of Detroit.
Say first place Kansas City Royals.
Hey, try that one on, huh? And they beat up Verlander and Scherzer in the process. That's a strikeout, or strike, excuse me. And what did they get? 8 off of Scherzer yesterday?
Yeah.
Or was it 10? It was 10 off of Scherzer.
Today it was Duffy against Anibal Sanchez.
0-2, and this is slowly hit. Kershaw makes the play, 1 out. Time for the Steel Tea Heating and Air Cool Stat. Never a trip charge for a repair. That's a $69 value. Steel Tea, the T stands for trust. Go to steeltea.com. ERA at Dodger Stadium, 100+ starts. The only pitcher better, Don Drysdale, 219. You have the Hall of Famer Don Sutton behind.
Well, Osteen was a pitching coach with the Rangers when I was playing in Texas.
Bob Welch, who we just lost a few days ago. Oral Hershiser, we saw earlier, he's part of the Dodger broadcast crew now. Left-hander Jerry Royce. Fernando, part of the longtime member of the broadcast crew on the Spanish side for the Dodgers. Bert Hooton with the knuckle curve. Remember he had that knuckle curve? There's Fernando, Pepe.
Fernando Mania.
Two-strike count on Brandon Barnes. Two-three on the put out at first, 6 strikeouts.
Shortstop number 2.
Tulowitzki coming up the day after every Rockies victory. Get 40% off your online order at Papa John's. Enter the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. And Troy slaps this foul. Troy grounded out the second, his first time up. High fly ball to left field, and Matt Kemp waiting. He's got it. 12 in a row set down by Kershaw to begin this baseball game. The Dodgers have 7 runs.
Southern California, we have to revisit Troy Tulowitzki's college days at Long Beach State. In fact, Tulo pledged $1 million this offseason after he was inducted into the Long Beach State Hall of Fame. His head coach, or now head coach, Troy Buckley, then assistant coach that recruited Tulo. Well, here's what he saw in the young high schooler.
Go back to high school, young, skinny, projection, serious, quiet, athletic, a lot of the same traits that you're seeing here. Obviously, he's grown up quite a bit as far as maturity-wise, but, I mean, just a really athletic young player that looked like he liked to play hard.
Well, Long Beach State has sent 42 players to the big leagues. Of course, as I mentioned, Tula making that $1 million pledge back to the Dirtbags program and to help renovate their field. He really believed in what college did for him, especially getting him to the next level. You can see more of that interview with Troy's college coach as well as with Troy Tulowitzki coming up on Rockies Weekly. That's tomorrow right after the game. Guys, Troy serious about baseball? You believe it?
Playing hard? Really?
Wow.
Troy Buckley's a good man. We were visiting with him over dinner tonight, and he's very proud, naturally, of Tulowitzki. And they've continued to have one of the best programs in the country over there at Long Beach State. 2-strike count on D. Gordon. And a strikeout of Gordon. That's the first punch out for De La Rosa in the ball game. That'll bring up Hanley Ramirez.
Not too many swing and misses. That was just the second swing and miss from the Dodgers tonight.
Ramirez a walk and a run scored, and shot down the third base line that Josh Rutledge made the defensive play of the game so far, diving to his right and then jumping to his feet and throwing out Ramirez by a comfortable distance. Good curveball.
That might be the first one we've seen from De La Rosa tonight.
Yeah, I would agree. Just broke that out. There's the 0-2. It looked like it was a cutter. It was up 1-2. Mark did that update earlier. You know who else hit another home run today? Nelson Cruz. He's got 22 home runs.
He's leading the American League DH in the DH category for the All-Star game.
Kind of signed a little later. He was out there for a while.
Well, people were worried. You know, well, what's going to happen? Is he going to be able to hit the home runs with the suspension that he had last year? Is it going to be the same numbers? Is he going to fall off? But I think Baltimore is the perfect ballpark for him to hit in.
Great offensive park. 2-2, Puig on deck, and that's lined to right and a base hit.
Right fielder Yasiel Puig.
So Yasiel Puig will come up. Another game of note in the American League today. The Red Sox went to extra innings scoreless with the Twins. Twins got a run at the top of the 10th. And then the Red Sox went back-to-back, Ortiz and Napoli. And Napoli's obviously walked off the Twins. The Red Sox swept the series 1-0, 2-1, 2-1.
Red Sox still 4 games south of 500 at 34-38.
Defending World Series champs. And in the East, in the American League, Toronto, the Yankees, Baltimore all over 500, then the Red Sox. And one of the biggest surprise, probably on the negative side, is your old friend Joe Maddon's team.
did not see them being at 28-45. Now, they did have some questions going into the season, who was going to close the games. And that's always the big question mark. Whenever you're going, well, I think it'll be this guy, or you go by committee.
Yeah, that
rarely works.
Yeah, they have more issues than that. Puig pulls it down the left field line, and that one will short hop the wall. Ramirez into third will stop there. And it's another Dodger double.
It's a fourth double tonight for LA.
First baseman Adrian Gonzalez.
Now, the good news is you haven't seen De La Rosa, fidget with the back, so the health is good. The bad news, obviously, is just having one of those rough outings, which he doesn't have frequently, and Walt Weiss is going to have to take the baseball from him after just 3 1/3. When we come back, Franklin Morales will take over. 2nd and 3rd with 1 out in the 4th. And they're threatening for more. A single by Ramirez with 1 out, and then Puig just doubled to the left field corner. And that's all for De La Rosa. Morales takes over. Adrian Gonzalez coming up. See the comparative stats for Frankie as a starter and over his last 6 games as a member of the bullpen. And until his appearance in San Francisco the other day, they were even more glowing than that.
Yeah, and that got away from him in the last inning in San Francisco. Gave up 6 hits, 4 earned runs in that appearance after coming in for Juan Nicasio, who only lasted 2 innings and a couple batters. Just a better tempo for Frankie when he comes out of the pen.
Double for Adrian Gonzalez to drive in a run last inning. He grounded out to short his first time up.
Good pitch. Slow curveball. Gonzalez out in front, off balance.
One and two. base hit to left will score Ramirez. Puig stops at third. It's 8-0. And for Gonzalez, second RBI of the night, 42nd on the season. One thing about Adrian, he goes the other way very well. That's how you drive in 100+ so frequently.
And especially against the left-hander. He just lets the ball travel. He was jammed, didn't hit it hard, but he stayed inside the baseball. It's the first multi-RBI game for Adrian Gonzalez since May 25th.
Two-strike count on Matt Kemp. Single and an RBI, double and an RBI. There's no 2 pitch I think he hit last time up.
See what Frankie throws him if he goes with the curveball.
Should be 2. This is tailor-made. 6-4-3, and that'll get the Rockies to the dugout. Another run comes in for LA. They have an 8 spot through 4 innings.
All right, Dodger fans, it's time for the
link to what's next. Here's the upcoming schedule the next 2.5 weeks. The Rockies will have tomorrow off, and then the Brewers over the weekend. St. Louis Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. St. Louis playing really good baseball right now. And then it's on to Milwaukee, and the trip will continue in our nation's capital Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday before the Rockies will come home and see the Dodgers again, and they'll play them over the 4th of July weekend. What on earth are we doing almost at the 4th of July?
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Now, Clayton Kershaw has been perfect so far. Literally, he's not given up anything through the first 4 innings. Willeen Rosario struck out looking his first time. Kershaw has struck out 6 of the 12 he's faced.
Well, he's just been wearing out the strike zone. 55 pitches, only 15 balls thrown, 40 strikes.
And by the way, the final line on De La Rosa: 3 1/3, 8 runs, 7 earned, 6 hits, 5 walks. A season high. He struck out just 1, and all 5 that he walked ended up scoring.
The 8 runs tied for the third most allowed, but the most since 2013 at Atlanta.
And Willeen Rosario just an 081 average with 2 strikes. The home run came earlier on this trip. Off the plate.
Well off the plate.
The crowd gets greedy.
They do. Not even close.
And he got in the chase. A slider in the dirt. Strikeout number 7 for Kershaw. Drew Stubbs' turn.
Get to the ballpark early on Saturday, June 21st, as the first 15,000 will receive a Carlos Gonzalez collectible jersey courtesy of Taco Bell.
Talked to Cargo earlier today. His spirits are up. Looking forward to getting those sutures out next week and starting the rehab process to get back on the field. 2 outs.
The hardest part is just sitting and waiting for things to heal. I think about the guys with the broken fingers and, you know, the broken hand for Jordan Lyles. There's nothing you can do. You just wait and let Mother Nature take over. And then when you feel like, well, okay, I can get the stitches out, or it's starting to heal and there's no more fractures for Nolan, then you can get back into minimal baseball activity and build back up again.
Yeah, and in the case of Cargo, I mean, he's got, you know, kind of a cast around it, the arm and a sling, because they really wanted to be careful with the surgery being far more invasive than they originally thought would be necessary. One and one on Rutledge.
You know, and for Cargo, they did the right thing. You try to play through it a couple different times, but finally the third time you have to say, wait, something's going on. We need to take a look at this. And when they went in there, they found that there definitely was something wrong. And you can't just put some dirt on it, rub it, and say, go play.
Yeah, and it gives you peace of mind also for Cargo going forward. And he's working out every morning what he can do. He goes to the ballpark every morning. Try to get some cardio. Here's the 1-2. And he's changing diapers.
Oh, yeah. A couple twins, or a couple girls. One set of twins.
One set of twins.
2 girls.
And Kershaw grabs that. And Kershaw's perfect through 5. 8-0 LA. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Focus. Big MPGs and fun to drive. Ford, go further. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. Dodgers 8 and the Rockies nothing. Scott Van Slyke takes strike one from Franklin Morales. He got the final 2 outs in the 4th inning. De La Rosa again just 3 1/3 tonight. And Van Slyke lines this pitch to left field. This is our Twitter Talk inning. We'll get some questions here via Twitter in a moment. Rockies last year won the season series against the Dodgers 10-9. First time they could make that claim since the World Series year of 2007. And the first time in LA this year, the Rockies took 2 of 3. But this series has gone the Dodgers' direction. First Twitter question of the night on Toyota Talk: do you think teams would have employed the shift against the late Tony Gwynn if he played today? No, because Tony used the whole field. He'd be the last guy you'd put a shift on.
If you did, it might be to the opposite field.
Right. I mean, he wore that out. He literally had such bad control. He's one of the few guys you almost think could direct it like a video game.
Or stop the ball halfway in flight to see if you were moving anywhere.
And safe at first. So 1 out. And Ellis trades places with Van Slyke.
Third baseman number 72, Miguel Rojas.
Now that the draft is over, where does Kyle Freeland start playing? He is in Grand Junction, but they're going to go slowly with Kyle Freeland because he threw so many innings this spring for the University of Evansville, and that's very typical not only for the Rockies, but also with every other club that drafts a college pitcher who has been a Friday night starter and accumulated a lot of innings. Walt's going to actually ask Phil Cuzzy to get together with Jerry Davis and look at this. See if Ellis was actually out at first base.
Because this challenge was successful early in the game, you still have this available. It's worth the look to see if they can overturn the call. His foot's on the bag at the same time as the runner.
So they'll deliberate in New York, see what they see. The Rockies get the second out call there. I don't know if there's enough evidence there to overturn it.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. Is there enough? But remember, it just has to disappear into the glove. It's not all the way when you catch it. But does his foot hit the bag before the ball goes in? It's like
it's close, man.
Yep.
Really close.
If you're Wall, that's is worth asking them to look at it.
After review, the play stands. Runner safe at first base. Third baseman number
Miguel
72,
Rojas.
Miguel Rojas
Will come up. 1 out, and A.J. Ellis at first base. 1 minute 47 seconds on that review.
To get back to that tweet for a moment, you're talking about Kyle Freeland. Remember they did that with Jonathan Gray too, because he'd thrown so many innings at Oklahoma. They had to back off him after, they felt he reached his threshold.
And it's an adjustment for a college pitcher. I was talking to Mark Wiley, who's the Rockies' minor league pitching coordinator, about this. Mark's up here right now visiting with the big club, and Mark was saying it's a big adjustment for a college pitcher who say, is a Friday night pitcher. He's pitching once every 7 days, and then as he makes the adjustment to pro ball, it becomes once every 5 days. That may not seem like a big deal, but it is.
Because of the work that you do in between starts, you don't have time to recover as much, so you have to back off on your throwing at the major league level.
See if the Rockies turn this one.
Oh, good flip from DJ
really
out
nice
of the
flip.
glove.
And Tulowitzki fires a strike. There will be no looking at that one. That is a 4-6-3 double play. And the Rockies will go to the bat rack again, trying to figure out Clayton Kershaw.
On June 18, 1962.
Of the 6, it's 8-0 Los Angeles. Of course, this is Kyle Parker's first start of his major league career. He's playing first base tonight. He has gotten in a game, though. He made his major league debut 2 nights ago, and that's when Charlie Blackmon pulled him aside to give him a little scouting report on the pitching he'd see here at the big league level before he took his first major league at bat. Kyle has struck out in all 3 at bats. He hopes to get a hit here. But Charlie Blackmon, he said really the advice was just to keep his nerves calm.
I was trying to make him feel comfortable, but I really just talked about what the guy on the mound had. Gave him a bit of a scouting report, and I remember my first game, and I was terrified my first game, so I just wanted to slow him down a little bit.
And for Kyle Parker, I talked to him today, and he said, yeah, I'm facing Clayton Kershaw. I'm just going to dive right into it. And I asked if he was nervous at all. He said, I was pretty nervous when I got up here a couple of days ago. I feel like I got those nerves out of my system, and I'm ready to go. So hopefully he has a good at bat here against Kershaw, guys.
Well, he had a good swing right there, Jenny. Fouled it straight back. It's an 0-2 count. Parker struck out swinging his first time up. 6th inning, and the Rockies do not have a base runner. And there's that ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous, curveball from Kershaw.
So that's 8 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. 5 have come on the slider, 2 on the curveball, and 1 on the fastball.
Second baseman, DJ LeMahieu.
Well, you're waiting for it to come to the plate, and just never gets there.
Here's DJ. He struck out also his first time up, and that When you see guys, big league hitters, swinging at sliders and breaking balls in the dirt, they're obviously not picking up the baseball. Willeen did it twice in his last at bat, and DJ, who's very disciplined, swung at a pitch that never came close to reaching the plate airborne. It's down 0-2. I want to correct something. I got Mark Wiley's title wrong. Mark is the director of pitching operations and that's why he's up here as well. We see Mark on a fairly regular basis, but he's overseeing. Dan hired him a couple of years ago to oversee the entire pitching operations. He's one of the most well thought of pitching coaches and pitching people, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, in the game.
Because he's been in the game for a long time. He's been a pitching coach at the big league level, in the minor league. He's seen it all and he's done it all. Worked with a lot of different styles and types of people.
And I think one of Mark's great traits is that he has a real calm demeanor about him. So he can relate to the young pitchers and obviously the guys who've been up for a while. And he can speak to them on the same level, but he has a real soothing presence. 1 ball and 2 strikes on DJ LeMahieu. Frustrating night right now for the Rockies. Kershaw is on his game, and they've put an 8 spot on the board. That is as nasty a curveball, and we've seen Kershaw a ton over the years. That's as good a curveball as I've ever seen him have, and he has one of the best in the game.
He has a feel for it tonight for sure. He's usually a slider to get the strikeout, which he's had a fair amount of those tonight. But the curveball, the rotation on the baseball is so tight. And to see it bite, Ryan Wheeler's going to take his pass now against Clayton Kershaw.
Wheeler will pinch hit with 2 outs in the 6th inning. 17 in a row set down to begin the ball game by Clayton Kershaw. And I'm looking at my scorebook. Barnes hit a fly ball to center field. Tulowitzki a ground ball to second. There really has not been anything approaching, even a loud out. So you get excited about a couple of good swings. Wheeler's had a couple of good passes against Kershaw, but he's fouled them straight back, 1 and 2.
Maybe the best one was that kind of soft line drive to third base by De La Rosa. I mean, there has not been many good swings tonight.
0-2, and that curveball's up and in. That thing looks like it's dropping 2 feet.
That is the definition of a 12-6 curveball.
And a slider strikes out Wheeler. Kershaw has struck out the side in the 6th. He is perfect through 6th, and he has 10 strikeouts.
Mike Shaw Subaru. As we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, it's unfortunately 8-0 for the Dodgers over the Rockies. Chris Martin making his 15th appearance in a Rockies uniform, relieving Franklin Morales, who was an inning and 2/3, couple hits given up, no runs. But for Chris, he's just looking to get back and on track. Before he was sent down, he was really good. He was coming in, just striking guys out, using the fastball, the slider. Last couple of appearances has been nicked for a few runs here and there. But every day he's going out there getting his work in, and now it's time to put those numbers up and turn things around.
Kershaw will lead it off, Huey, in the 6th inning. 9-1-2. 8-0 Los Angeles, 8 hits. The only marker on the Rockies side is a 1 in the E category, and that was on De La Rosa. He's trying to pick off D. Gordon in the 1st inning and fired the ball into center field. And Kershaw takes a strike. One ball, one strike. And Kershaw fouls it off past Lorenzo Bundy. Since 1920, Clayton Kershaw has the lowest all-time ERA among pitchers who've thrown at least 1,000 innings and has started at least 100 games. Think about that for a moment. He's ahead of, on that list, Whitey Ford, Sandy Koufax, Spud Chandler's 4th, and Jim Palmer is 5th. Two balls and 2 strikes on Kershaw. Martin's 96-mile-an-hour fastball is fouled back. Kershaw.
That's why he's been compared so much in his career to Sandy Koufax.
Well, I just dropped by next door and talked to Vin about Koufax, who he remains very close with. And of course, there are so many similarities. The curveball in particular. Oh, he said Sandy was stronger than Kershaw. Big, wide back, and had bigger hands, stronger hands. If you look at Finn in his 65th year.
Sandy Koufax also played some basketball.
Sandy Koufax went to the University of Cincinnati initially to play basketball. Grew up in Brooklyn, and then the baseball thing ended up taking over. And it took him a while to get going with the Dodgers. I mean, back then you weren't in the minor leagues. They had to keep him on the roster, and they rarely used him because he was so wild. D. Gordon, a walk, a ground out, and a strikeout. He walked and stole second, his 37th bag in the 1st inning, and would come around to score on the sac fly by Yasiel Puig. Hey, thanks again for tweeting us your questions last inning during Toyota Talk. As always, for more answers, visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/RootSportsRM. Pitch a little tall. Gordon grew up in Florida. You say he's gained 12 pounds. And I'm saying, all right, how? Where?
He does look bigger than he did last year.
And he is an exceptionally hard worker. Got a little Juan Pierre in him, huh?
You have to almost lock the doors and change the locks to get there so early.
Yeah.
But you'd rather have it that way than trying to kick him in the backside.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the career, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I got everything out of it that my abilities would allow me to. His improvement with the bat, to me, is the most notable thing about his game. He was an out when he came up his first year or two.
He said it last night. You just had to, he couldn't steal first. You could knock the bat out of his hand. Now, he's learned with 2 strikes to choke up on the bat, not stay down at the end of the knob.
And that pitch just inside, and he draws another walk.
Shortstop number 13, Hanley Ramirez.
Frankie, by the way, Morales went an inning and 2/3, no runs on 2 hits. Fouled off. See where Brad Penning was signed to a minor league deal by the Marlins?
There were some notable names that either were signed or released, put on waiver. You guys saw Grady Sizemore was designated for assignment.
Josh Outman, the former Rocky, designated today by the Indians as well. And Grady Sizemore is such a great story. Very early in the season, he had the big opening day, and unfortunately, so many injuries the last couple of years, and he has struggled since a decent start. Hanley Ramirez a year ago hit .345.
All the balk.
That's a balk on Martin. He had one
That's
the other day also.
Yeah, second time in his last 2 appearances. Both times it's been with the false move start to come up just like that.
And he knew it.
Yep.
He wasn't finding fault with Greg Gibson.
No.
He just realized that he had done it. Rockies have more balks than any other team in the National League. They've balked 6 times.
And both balks for Chris Martin have come with D. Gordon at first base. And both times it was in the 6th inning. Monday night and then here tonight.
That's in there. 2-strike count now on Ramirez. 1 out. That .345 average I was referencing for Hanley was a career best. And you may say, wait a second, didn't he win a batting title? He did in '09, but he hit .342 that year to win the title. Down the right field line, see if Barnes has a play. Brandon will. Gordon will not move up. 2 outs.
Right fielder, number 66.
Take a look at the NL West standings, brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. Play the new Western Scratch Games, Cash Stampede, Wild West Poker, Colorado Crossword, Instant Winning, Endless Possibilities. Giants lost earlier today in Chicago on the south side against the White Sox, 7-6. Chris Sale over Tim Hudson. The Dodgers began the day 4.5 back. The Rockies 8.5 back. Puig, a sac fly, a walk, and a double. He came into the evening 5th in the National League in hitting. Everybody's been looking up at Troy Tulowitzki all year in that department and most other offensive stats. On the ground, 2 hops to LeMahieu. And that's all for the Dodgers in the 6th. So we'll go to the 7th. 8-0 LA.
Healthcare text to win question of the game answer. Please.
First Bank game recap. Paying for checking's a thing of the past. Get First Bank free checking at efirstbank.com. Jorge De La Rosa struggled. He gave up 8 runs, 7 earned, in 3 1/3. He walked 5 and was hit hard. Clayton Kershaw has not been hit at all. He's the story tonight. He is perfect through 6 innings. He has struck out 10. And the Rockies in the 7th will have Dickerson, Barnes, and Tulowitzki. Trying to upset his bid for a perfecto. Dickerson caught looking in the 1st, and he hit a little comebacker in the 4th. Here's Dickerson, and the first pitch looked a little low, but called a strike by Greg Gibson. According to the 4th strike zone, it was at the bottom of the zone. Here's the 0-1. And that cuts away, 1-1. Wonder with a pitcher at what point it enters the mindset that
now
you got to figure. I mean, no matter how locked in you are.
And what's the rule? Then nobody goes and talks to you. Nobody sits by you. They leave you alone. So they know what's going on.
Here's the 2-1, and that's topped to short. Ramirez throws it away. And the crowd oohs and ahs Dickerson to second. It'll be an error. But there goes the perfect game. And from a shortstop's perspective, even though Dickerson runs well and runs everything out full steam, That's a pretty easy play.
It is. You're coming in, and there's nothing that's unusual about the hop. You circled it, you looked it in, and then you just bury it. I mean, that was a bad throw. It wasn't like he had to pick it off the grass. He caught it knee high, the transfer. And Adrian Gonzalez, too, he's one of the best over there. You get it in the neighborhood within 6 feet of him still being on the bag, he's going to pick it. Remember, last night his finger had to come out of the game. Did that factor into it?
Yeah, good point. It could have. Brandon Barnes, a fly ball to center field and a strikeout. And it was Dickerson who hit the ball last night.
Yeah. Took it off the right hand. The ring finger on his right hand took it for x-rays. X-rays were negative.
Good swing by Barnes, 1-2. First time Kershaw's worked out of the stretch all evening. Kershaw's low hit game is a 2-hitter.
And his high strikeout game is 13 back in 2009 against San Francisco.
He's thrown 2 2-hitters in his career. 2-2 on Barnes, and that's strikeout number 11.
There wasn't much ill effect of having to throw out of the stretch. And the last time he did that was back in the bullpen prior to the game at 6:50.
So here's Tulo. Troy, a ground ball to second and a fly ball to left. He, along with Josh Rutledge, the only two in the Rockies lineup not to have struck out tonight against Kershaw. And this is on the ground, fair, long throw, and the scoop at first by Gonzalez as Miguel Rojas gets Tulowitzki.
I thought that was going to break up the no-hit bid. But down the line, Rojas, more of a shortstop. He goes over and he picks it. But by the time he gathers himself, he's right at the edge of the grass and the dirt. But the pick from Adrian Gonzalez. Watch his right foot as he has to make the plant on this. It goes back. He has to really plant and drive off the front leg. In between hop from Adrian Gonzalez. See why he's one of the premier ones who's won 3 Gold Gloves.
Rosario takes a strike. Wallin has struck out twice, once looking. At third base is Dickerson. Rosario trying to break it up here in the 7th, and that misses down low. And that may have caught part of the zone. So Wallin catches a break. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two balls and a strike. Fouled off at the plate, and it's 2-2.
Well, 7 times tonight he's gone to the slider for the strikeout out of the 11. 3 on the curveball, 1 on the fastball. What does he call? Going with the curveball.
Here's the 2-2, and he locked him up. And the crowd heavily involved now through 7 innings. The perfect game is gone, but the no-hitter intact for Clayton Kershaw, and he has struck out 12 Rockies. 8-0 Los Angeles.
Boys and girls, the 7th inning stretch.
Difficult day in San Diego. There'll be many difficult days, obviously, to follow. The story here in LA, Clayton Kershaw. He has a no-hitter through 7 innings. He had a perfect game. Hanley Ramirez, his errant throw on a ground ball by Corey Dickerson, broke up the perfect game. The Rockies trailing 8-0. Adam Ottavino is going to throw the 7th inning. Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Kemp, Scott Van Slyke. 2 in the first for LA. They got 5 in the third, and that chased. Actually, they got another run in the 4th inning. That ultimately chased Jorge De La Rosa. Rockies made a defensive change. They put on the shift. We'll tell you about it. Charlie Culberson has come in. Tulowitzki's gone out, and Josh Rutledge moves from third base to shortstop. Culberson at third.
So Ottavino will go into Troy's spot, third in the lineup. Culberson in the number 9 spot. But for Adam, 31 strikeouts are the most by a Rockies reliever in his 34 games, are tied for the most with Rex Brothers.
Two balls and a strike. Adam Ottavino and Sandy Koufax share a home borough in common, both from the borough of Brooklyn.
Is it 4 no-hitters for Koufax?
2-4. He threw a perfect game on September the 9th, 1965 against the Chicago Cubs, and what was fascinating about that particular evening, the opposing pitcher Bob Henley was really good that day as well. This is Sandy's number 32. 3-2 on Adrian Gonzalez. And strike 3 at third base. Quinn Walcott says he went. The opposing pitcher was Bob Henley. He allowed just 1 hit and did not allow an earned run in an 8-inning complete game. Sweet Lou Johnson had a bloop double in the 7th inning over Ernie Banks at first. That scored the only run of the game. And Sandy threw the perfecto on September 9th, 1965. But Bob Henley, the forgotten part of that equation, in that he was really, really good, but not quite as good as the guy he was facing.
Sandy was just a little better.
Matt Kemp takes a strike. 2 for 3 tonight, single and a double, 2 RBIs. Grounded in with 6-4-3 his last time up. The third, that's fair, past the diving Charlie Culberson. And Kemp has his 3rd hit and his 2nd double of the night. That's 5 doubles in the ball game for LA, 5 of their 9 hits.
Center fielder number 33, Scott Hensley.
You come into the game, you know you're going to get a chance early, and Matt Kemp hooked it inside the bag at third base. Charlie all-out dive. Just couldn't reach it. Hit too hard and too far away from him.
Scott Van Slyke's 1 for 2 in a walk. He had a single in the 5th inning, a line drive to left, and he hits this ball high in the air to left field. Dickerson will come in a couple of strides, and that's the 2nd out. Let's check in with Jenny Cavnar. Jenny?
Well, guys, the Rockies starting rotation right now pretty thin. A couple of rookies in the rotation because 4 starters are on the disabled list. Here's an update as to what's been going on in Los Angeles with their rehab. Tyler Chatwood, Brett Anderson today both threw 47 pitches in a bullpen session. They had all their pitches available. Both of them said they're feeling great. It looks like they'll have about 1 more bullpen session before seeing live pitching. They hope that happens at Coors Field sometime early next week. As for Eddie Butler, he was advised to slow down, actually from LA's team doctor. He did throw 10 pitches off the mound on Monday. He was evaluated yesterday, and in fact the Rockies sent him back home to Colorado. So not terrible news there. He's just going to take a step back, probably won't be ready when he's eligible to return from the disabled list, which is in 4 days. Guys?
Jenny, thank you. A.J. Ellis at the plate. He took the strike. Rockies have yet to officially announce who will start on Saturday in place of Juan Nicasio, who is optioned down to AAA Colorado Springs. Good slider.
Well, for Juan, it's a chance to get out of the limelight, get back, work on some things without the pressure of the wins and losses in AAA, get back on the right track.
Kershaw and off by himself now, which is typical in the history of baseball when a guy has a no-hitter late.
Yeah, and if he happens to say anything to anybody, you act like him. I didn't hear you. I'm not paying attention to you. Or you just get up and walk away.
What did Ryan do? Did he sit off by himself?
He sat off by himself. And one of the best memories I have of his 6th no-hitter is he had just come off the DL with a bad back. and his youngest son, Reese, was on the trip. And I just remember from about the 5th inning on, they'd sit off in the corner. And Reese at that time was probably 13, 14, but he was rubbing his dad's back in between half innings as he was sitting on the bench.
What a neat experience to share. Center field, Drew Stubbs will have it, and that's all for the Dodgers in the 7th. So we'll go to the 8th inning. Kershaw with a no-hitter. Stubbs will lead it off. Let's take a look at our Cooney Lexus look back. The Dodgers got a couple runs in the 1st inning, but the story of this game's been Clayton Kershaw. He's perfect through 6. Then Hanley Ramirez made an error, but he has a no-hitter through 7 innings tonight. Dodgers already have a no-hitter this year when Josh Beckett turned the feed. It was the first one in 18 years prior to Beckett throwing his no-hitter. The last no-hitter by a Dodger was Hideo Nomo in '96 in September at Coors Field. Beckett threw his a few weeks ago at Citizens Bank Park against the Phillies. So Stubbs, a strikeout and a ground ball to short. Rutledge and Parker. And Carlos Truenfell has come in at short.
Talk about pressure. The pressure on Clayton Kershaw, but also on Truenfell to come in for defense the last 2 innings.
It'd be a little greater, wouldn't it, Huey, if the perfect game was still intact?
Yes, it would be.
2 strikes quickly on Stubbs. And a curveball, and that, for me, has been as good as his fastball's been and his location. His curveball has been just off the charts good. That's 13 strikeouts.
And the 5th with the curveball, and 4 out of the last 5 strikeouts have been with that curveball. And now that ties a career high in strikeouts for Clayton.
And his previous best of 13 was in 2009, so it's been 5 years.
Against San Francisco here at Dodger Stadium.
0-1 on Rutledge, a ground ball to second and a comebacker. And line just foul. Off the bat. I thought Rutledge had done it.
I thought he had too. And off the bat, it looked like it was going to hug the line, be right on the line. Ended up being 3 feet foul. Take a deep breath.
Curveball, and that's number 14, a new career high for Kershaw. He struck out the last 3 and 4 of 5.
Well, and it's also sets his career longest for a no-hitter, because previously it had lasted 7 innings.
And that's Clayton Kershaw's wife, Ellen. Hard at Adrian Gonzalez, and Kyle Parker is out. And through 8, Kershaw has a no-hitter. 8-0 Los Angeles. The last 10. The only base runner for the Rockies was Dickerson, reaching on the error by Hanley Ramirez, leading off the 7th inning. This is one of the most dominant pitching performances you will ever see. Rex Brothers will get some work here in the 8th. Miguel Rojas will hit in front of Kershaw, and then D. Gordon.
Last appearance for Rex was Sunday. Had a hold in the game at San Francisco when he came in and threw that 1 pitch. The last 4 outs for Rex have come on 10 pitches total.
That's the first ball he's thrown in like a week. 46,069 in attendance tonight. And I guarantee you none have left.
Not like they normally do out here, where they will start heading towards the exits in the 6th or 7th inning.
Tonight they'll deal with the traffic. One and 2 on Rojas. And the bid to break it up in the 9th inning. DJ LeMahieu, Charlie Culberson, Corey Dickerson. DJ a couple of strikeouts tonight. Culberson will have his first at bat against Kershaw. And Corey Dickerson We'll get his 4th look at Kershaw. The AT&T fan photo of the game. Let's take a look at it. Big group of fans. This is a bunch of Rockies fans who made their way actually to AT&T Park. See the Rockies play earlier this year. Tweet your photo to #COFanPhoto for a chance to be shown just like this. Brought to you by AT&T. 1-2 and good fastball at 94 from Rex, and Rojas is gone.
Pitch number 22, Clayton Kershaw.
Kershaw getting a standing ovation.
Thinks you attempt to swing here for Clayton Kershaw, you just take some pitches.
So you don't hurt your hand or run?
Right.
You know, he's such a competitive guy and a pretty good hitter. You know what? That didn't surprise me. I don't think he changes his modus operandi.
Well, obviously not, but it has to be going through his mind. Maybe just get this over with so I can go out and take care or go to the top of the 9th inning.
1-1. Rutledge, and look how hard he ran to first too. That may have been more surprising to me than the swing, or the fact that he swung.
Second baseman number 1, D. Gordon.
Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank. Gordon scored in the first after walking and stealing second. There's a pair of walks today, 0 for 2 otherwise. And that's a strike at the knees. The Dodgers have 3 sweeps this year. All have come out on the road. And barring a miracle here, we're going to sweep the Rockies. But because the Rockies swept in San Francisco, you still go back home a 3-3 road trip. And when you come to California, you say, well, if you can go 500, you feel really good about how that trip went. Quite frankly, any trip, you can be a 500 team on the road and then a dominant team at home, and that's what the Rockies endeavor to do, get things straightened out back at Coors Field when they return there Friday. But by virtue of what they accomplished in San Francisco, though this will sting,
it's still 500.
It takes some of the sting out of it. Auto glass issues, trust SafeLight online at safelight.com or call 303-287-5000.
The Dodgers tried to sweep Arizona last weekend. They took the first 2, but then lost on Sunday. Working hard back there, Lane.
3-2. And this is in the air to left center, and Stubbs tracks it down. So the Rockies will try to break it up in the top of the ninth. DJ LeMahieu will be first. West.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Let's go to Denver and Mark Stat. Mark? All right, Mark, thanks very much. So the Rockies will have LeMahieu, Culberson, and Dickerson as they try to stay out of the history books against Clayton Kershaw, who has put together as dominant an 8-inning performance so far as I can recall. You think back to when Randy Johnson, would face the Rockies or quite frankly anybody else, and he often had no-hitter stuff and would strike out a high number. 14 strikeouts for Kershaw as LeMahieu steps up. Crowd all standing, and it's a ground ball to Gonzalez, and that's one out.
Third baseman number 23, Charlie Culberson.
You want to be aggressive. DJ tried, but just really Clayton Kershaw tonight has been dominating.
And DJ runs well, and you can see that Kershaw falls off the mound pretty dramatically to the third base side, as many lefties do, and he regathered himself and saw what kind of athlete he is, getting the first. Good flip from Gonzalez. So here's Culberson. This is his first at bat of the night. He came in last inning for Tulowitzki. And he pops it up. Puig waving his arms. He'll have it. And there are 2 outs in the ninth. He's 1 out away.
This kind of performance reminds me of Nolan's 7th no-hitters against Toronto. Not really many good swings against him all night. A lot of strikeouts.
And again, in the yellowish sweater, his wife Ellen. And you have to probably go back to his days at Highland Park High School, or Highland Park, Texas, the last time he threw a no-hitter. And he did throw a no-hitter in high school. Dickerson, big swing and a miss on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Corey tonight a strikeout, a comebacker, and he reached on that 2-hopper to short and was slowly hit, that Ramirez, who had time, threw away. That's the only reason we're not talking about a potential perfect game here. Here's the 0-1. Well, he has 14 strikeouts tonight, 7 on his slider, 6 on his curveball, just 1 on his fastball.
Now does the adrenaline take over? Do you go for the strikeout on the fastball? The curveball's been so good lately. That's what he's going to go to.
That's been his best pitch tonight. Here's the 0-2. And it is popped up and maybe playable for Ellis. And he tried to run through the fence to get to it.
This is what you're going to do. You're not going to worry about any walls slowing down.
I mean, he didn't even glance.
No.
He was like, I'm going to get the baseball.
I'm going to get it. And 2 outs, 2 strikes.
Well, if there's a guy who could break it up right now, for me, it's Dickerson. He is such a gifted hitter, and his hand-eye coordination is off the charts. Case in point, that high fastball he hit last night against Jansen. The 0-2, swung on and missed. And there it is. Clayton Kershaw has no-hit the Rockies. That one boo-boo by Hanley Ramirez, the only thing separating Kershaw from perfection. And even with that, as you look at Hanley, he joins a very select group, one that my partner Jeff Houston is familiar with. A no-hitter that includes 15 strikeouts. Your close friend Nolan Ryan, who you played behind in no-hitter 6 and no-hitter 7, did it in 3 of his 7 no-nos. The late Don Wilson did it, and the late great Hall of Famer Warren Spahn did it, and now Clayton Kershaw, a no-hitter with 15 strikeouts.
You can tell from the first inning on that he had everything working tonight.
Well, you and I looked at each other during a commercial break. I believe it was between the 2nd and 3rd inning. And you just have a feel for these things. Not to say you knew he was going to do it, but he had no-hitter stuff. He's accomplished so much in his career already. 2 Cy Youngs and a runner-up in the last 3 years. 3 straight ERA titles. But he had never thrown a no-hitter. In fact, he had never thrown a one-hitter in the big leagues. He has one now. And let's go to Alana Rizzo.
Vin, thank you very much. Clayton Kershaw, first no-hitter of your career. You're a bit emotional already. Congratulations. If it is possible, please take me through the emotion.
Oh, it's cold.
That was cold, but you were hot tonight, Clayton. 15 strikeouts, your career high. What's going through your head?
This wasn't amazing. I mean, that's so amazing. Oh my God, I can't, you know, Beckett told me he was going to teach me how to do that. So I got Josh to thank.
At what point did you get a sense that this could be a magical evening?
Well, we just started scoring so many runs. I just didn't want to screw that up. So I just kept trying to throw strikes and, you know, play. It was just so much fun. I can't explain it.
You have 2 Cy Young Awards, narrowly 3 Cy Young Awards. Where does this, oh, it's the phone party. That's very deserving of a foam party. 2 Cy Young Awards, almost 3 a couple of years ago. Where does this rank in already such a historic career for you?
As far as individual games go, this is pretty special. You know, I'll remember this for the rest of my life, and get to do it at home, it's even better. This is amazing. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You had talked that Josh Beckett was able to do it just a few weeks ago when we were in Philadelphia. The last time 2 Dodgers threw a no-hitter in the same season, 1956. How special is this for you and this starting rotation?
I'm in great company. You know, all these guys have been throwing great, and you know, just try to keep doing our jobs. This has been it's been really fun so far.
Your wife Ellen was hanging on every single pitch. They kept showing on the broadcast. Ellen, come on over. You tipped your cap. You were looking at her up in the stands. How special is this for you and your family? Ellen Kershaw, everybody. Incredibly proud of you, incredibly excited for you. I'm going to let you enjoy this with your beautiful wife and your teammates. Congratulations, Clayton.
Thank you.
Congratulations, everybody. Clayton Kershaw. Then back up to you. What a tremendous moment for such a wonderful young man.
Well, sometimes you step back and you have to tip your cap. And tonight, you tip your cap to what was one of the greatest performances I've ever witnessed. You've been in this game as a player, as a coach, and now as a broadcaster for the better part of a decade. Clayton Kershaw could not have been more dominant.
No, and I think you made a great point when you said that in between the second and third innings, we kind of looked at each other and just said, he's got the stuff tonight to possibly throw one. He had 15 strikeouts on the night, and I think back to my time with Nolan in his no-hitter against Toronto. He had 16 strikeouts in that ball game. Steve Buchelda, who was starting at third base, I was at shortstop that night. We came off the field and said, it's over. It was over in the second inning. Clayton Kershaw tonight was mixing everything in beautifully. You hate to, you know, look at it, but it was a fastball, it was a curveball, it was a slider, mixes, and he had the stuff that you said, this could be one of those nights.
And honestly, there was not a ball hit hard the whole evening, and a lot of times you need some good luck to throw a no-hitter. You're talking about the best hitters in the world, and usually there's a pretty good defensive play.